Okay, thank you. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'm glad you're able to join us. This class here, Chan class here, is for the Asia continent, because we take the Asian culture very seriously. It's a very important part of our wisdom in the human realm. So we're very pleased that we are able to get together and practice together. And in fact, I'm very grateful for so many of you in Asia who've been able to help us, who've been making sacrifices to help us with the translation of the Chinese wisdom into English so that we can share it for everyone. I assure you, everything we do here will be shared to be put on the internet so that we have a stronger presence for Mahayana, proper Dharma and Mahayana texts and Dharmas on the internet to somewhat, in a very small way, counterbalance the kind of junk out there on the internet. People are confused. I feel that, especially for monks and nuns or you lay people, you should not teach before you know what you're doing, because otherwise you're creating junk and you're not helping at all. Actually, you're causing a lot of harms for a lot of people, including yourself and your family. Okay, because I realize that I'm like most of you, we are hybrids. We are sort of like the bridge between the Asian culture and the Western culture. Western culture is more materialistic. It's unfortunate that the Asians are now more enamored with the materials aspects of the Western culture, and they're forsaking their incredible, invaluable ancient wisdom from our ancients, our forebears. So that's why, since now, unfortunately, you people in Asia are no longer able to understand the depth of your Asian cultures. That's why my late Chinese teacher had to move to the West and find people who can be taught, who can be trained to understand it and to do something about it. Okay, so I'm hoping that the third generation, I'm being the second generation Mahayana here in the West. I hope the third generation will be even better off than my generation. Then I'd be very pleased with what we can accomplish together. That's why I hope that more and more of you will step up and help us increase the amount of Mahayana Dharmas available to help everyone, okay, to help the future generations. Because I remember until I met Mahayana, my Chinese teacher, my life, just like a typical person nowadays in modern times, my life is more or less can be described as rudderless, no sense of direction. Okay, you chase one after another, and it's pursuing worldly dharmas is actually very disappointing. You end up being disappointed. Seriously, those of us, when you look at the history of mankind, those of us who devoted their entire lives to pursuing materialistic things, worldly accomplishments, they ended up being disappointed. Anyone cares to disagree with me? Cite for me an instance where you have a worldly person who is successful and yet died happy. And why are we still doing it? Why are we following the footsteps? In fact, when you think about it, if your children, your grandchildren ask you, what's the purpose of life? How would you answer them? I think we should teach our children, the future generation, they should ask themselves that question. Why am I here? What's my purpose here? What am I doing here? No? Shouldn't you? Shouldn't we? Shouldn't have your parents? Okay, I give you a few minutes to think about it. Okay, so hot here. Actually, today, I'm glad to share with you that the heat doesn't bother me anymore. For my entire life, when it's too hot like today, 80, 90 degrees here in Fahrenheit in the US, I become paralyzed. I shut down, my system shuts down. It's like an engine, it overheats, like your phone, it overheats, it shuts down, right? Same thing. So now, I'm finally fought that and decided to stop being a victim of the heat. So it doesn't bother me. I'm sweating like crazy, but I'm not bothered. At least I don't appear to be bothered. Yes, it's your choice. It's funny how life is. For my entire life, for my force of habit, when it's too hot, my body naturally shuts down. Has always done that for my entire life. Until recently I realized I cannot afford to shut down. There's work to be done. So I chose, well, let's figure our way not to have to shut down when it's hot. That's all, or cold. Okay? All right, stop being a victim. So what would you say? What do you have to say? How should I tell your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, some of you? What should you tell them? How should they live their lives? So that it's not as rudderless as ours. Hey, you're supposed to have the Asian wisdom, okay? I'm very Western, I'm very materialistic. This is new to me, the Eastern culture. Yeah? When you tell you what do you need to tell your son, your daughters, nieces, nephews, great-grandchildren, yourself. How should we live our lives so that it's not rudderless? Okay, too tough of a question? Okay, let's see. I'll keep it, make it a little bit easier. What is the biggest problem that you have? That everyone has. What's the biggest problem? Come tell me down. And what's your biggest fear? Okay, anyone would like to tell a joke? I don't know. What's your biggest problem? What's your problems? What you worried about? What you should be worried about? What should your parents be worried about? What is everyone worried about? Inflation? Okay, let's go through elimination. Anyone has a dictionary? Let's go through the words. Inflation? No. Okay. What about, what is there? I'm so out of touch with reality. I'm so sheltered here behind my four walls in the temple. What are you worried about? A job?
Okay.
Yes, 7. Seven is dead. No? Okay. There you go.
Okay. Master, I think most people would worry about the basic needs like housings, food.
Basic needs, housing, schools. Okay. All right. Fine.
Clothing, yeah.
Okay. Reasonable. Yes. Was there a question over here?
This is from Apple, Go Force Apple.
Yes.
I think Chinese parents will tell you exactly what to do, like go to a good school,
Go
get
to
a
a
good
good school,
job,
get good education, get a good job, get married.
get married, raise kids, and that's the life you should have.
That's a life you could have. Okay, fine. Okay. And that's what you've been doing. Yes? And you think that you can be happy with the results? Your results so far? Are you happy? Huh? Who's happy? Raise your hands. Besides the Catholics. Who's happy? Raise your hands. Come on, raise your hands. You happy? Seriously? Okay, Professor Jane. Now she's a tenured professor, so need to address her properly. Professor Jane. Yes? You happy? Yeah.
Think getting over the COVID, so I'm happy.
You're happy. Okay. Okay. I'm glad for you. What about Chuhung? She's happy. Can you imagine Chuhung being happy? That's weird. Yeah?
Thank you, Master. I used to be not happy, bothered by everything.
Uh-huh. So you're no longer bothered by everything? You become wood and stone, ceramics in your country? Yeah? Is that the difference now? So that what China has done for you is now become wood and stone. Not good advertising for our American China at all. Yeah? Chen Chen look happy. No? She said, no, I'm really not happy.
Start contemplate. I always think about I can die gracefully, not suffer. My parents too, right? So.
Not suffer.
But yeah.
And
when I die.
When you die, you not suffer.
No suffer.
Now what is, now is what?
Now I
Suffer.
prepare for my death and my death.
Ah, this girl is so practical. That's the biggest problem you're all going to have, death. Right? We all are afraid of death. Who's afraid of death? Huh? Death is such a scary thing because we know nothing about it and we can't do anything about it. Yes? We're marching inexorably towards death. It doesn't matter what we do, we're going to die. And what happens when we die? The same thing is going to happen again. Meaning, we revolve in the wheel. Okay? We'll come back. We change bodies. And we come back. We continue this. We've been doing this for so long. We're so good at it. Okay? And it's something that we accepted. And that's why in this fear of death here, this biggest problem we have in life is that we'll come to an end. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, how successful you are, you still will have to die. The pharaohs died. The sages died. Buddhas died. Okay? So this problem we have, we really, no one knows. The worldly people don't know what to do with it. And therefore, it's like a sword hanging over our head. It's right there. Could die because of a car accident, because the airplane would crash, okay, or of sickness, or whatever. So many things would happen to us. And when that thing happens, that death thing comes around, there's not much we can do about it. So we avoid thinking about it. We beat the bush. We avoid talking about it. Okay, but it's there. It's always there in the back of our mind. It's death. Doesn't matter. You can eat good food. You can sleep well. You can be very happy right now. And you still have to die. Okay? So what's the meaning of life then? What are we supposed to do? What shall we tell our children, the future generations? We know there's this problem here that we have, our parents had, now our children will also have, our great-grandchildren will also have. How can we help them? No one there talked about it. No one really talked much about it because they didn't know what to do about it. Yes? How can you have a good life if you cannot solve the biggest problem you have? I challenge you. So we chase after money, we chase after fame, chase after profits. And then we have to leave it all. So how shall we live our life? Okay, I'm running out of time because you are just, this is so too profound of a question for you. Yeah? No one dare ask you this question about life and death? Because you don't talk about it in polite company, right? You talk about drinking, you talk about having fun, talking about education, you're talking about monuments, talking about accomplishments, okay? Talking about success. You talk about your biggest problem, death. What can you do about it? So I feel that is one of the things that changed my perspective is that Chan helped me change my perspective. We can do something about it by practicing Chan. Okay, so that's why the Chinese sages said meditation or Chan is just as important as eating, as breathing, as taking a shower, as living. It should be that important to you. So, here's what I propose. You tell your children, you tell yourselves, you tell your great-grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren, and the future generations, okay, how should we live our life? Because if we follow the Western culture and say, success, 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 yes? Hoard. Add one more to your car collection. Children collection. Money collection. Okay? Yeah. But then leave it all behind. And having so many regrets because no one can appreciate your car collection as much as you do. I buy cheap things. I bought this, my first brand new car was a Honda Odyssey 2011. Okay? I was so proud. At the time, I was very poor. I'm still poor. But my soul is not as poor. Okay? At that time, I was first came to Blue Mountain Temple. And I was living with my brother in Long Beach. That's about 35 minutes without traffic here in Los Angeles. And I needed a car, so went out and bought a van because I figured that I need to carry a lot of people. I'm preparing for several groupies to follow me everywhere. Okay, so went out and bought a van. Okay, and it's a funny thing because I was very poor, but for some reason for that month, the donations came in like crazy, and came up to $38,000. It's exactly what I had to pay for my van. Yeah, wow. Yeah, exactly. I said, wow, my first purchase, and it's so expensive as a monk. Okay. And so I enjoy the van. It's been a very good van, except for a few, things here and there. And now after all this time, I took very good care of it until more and more people borrow it to carry things. And now, I have nicks and I have, my seats have spots and are damaged and so forth. And recently, there's an odometer that you need to use to reset the small stick there. Okay. As soon as I have more people borrowing my van, that stick is always broken. The Honda people, engineers, so stupid. You don't have a tiny, tiny stick about the size of a toothpick going through a hole for you to reset the odometer, And the original one is that long, longer than a toothpick, and it's broken immediately as soon as I lend it to my Chinese disciples. Okay, so another Chinese disciple came around and he changed it to a shorter version. So the thing sticks out for about 1 inch only. Before, like 2 inches outside of the dashboard. Now it's only 1 inch. And as soon the Koreans came, and it's broken as well. The Koreans always manage, I think it's Koreans. Those are the only new ones. They still manage to break the stick. Yeah, so I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to fix it at all. Okay. Now we just use something to stick, to reach inside there and push it. So unless you know what to do, you will not be able to break my stick anymore. Okay. So anyway, so that's why did I tell you about my van again? I forgot. It's brand new, yeah. 38,000, yeah. It's funny. Now it's just like it's a sign of things because as soon as money comes in, now I know I have to buy something. Money only comes in when I need to buy something. It's weird. Otherwise, it's no money at all. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. This is not a trick to ask you for donations. Okay. You should feel guilty, but anyway. So that's so what do we tell our children? I would tell you that Chan is the middle way, not. I don't subscribe to the Chinese style where you grind it out day in, day out, and to practice Chan. I feel Chan is a middle way, more balanced. Okay, I feel that life is Chan. So how do you practice Chan? Practice Chan to me is two parts. One is worldly, and one is spiritual. Okay, meaning that worldly is that you need to pay your dues to society so that you can get to do what you want. You can afford to do what you want. Make sense? We have to live. We need to eat. We need to wear clothes. We need a place to stay, and so forth. So we need to have a material life, a worldly life where we pay our dues, we contribute to society to earn our place in society. Okay, and that's what we should do. That's why we go to school, acquire skills, trade skills, and training and so forth to make a living. That's Chan too. Otherwise, you can't practice Chan. And then the other part about life is that if you only practice that and live that way, that's what I refer to being purposeless, rudderless. You have no idea where you're going because you end up not being able to solve the biggest problem you have, death issue. What are you doing about it? So therefore, the spiritual life will help you resolve that problem, the death issue. Okay? Death is a spiritual problem. Only through the spirituality can you solve that issue of death. Because look, worldly people don't know what to do about it. They're confused. They're terrified of it. Okay, so in Chan, so that's why I feel that we should teach our children to be more balanced life, because typically the way we were taught by our own parents is that they only taught us about the worldly life. They didn't teach us, they didn't prepare us for death, because they don't know themselves. Okay, so therefore, I feel that we're doing a great service to our children, to our the future generations, by helping them understand that life is a balance, must be balanced between a worldly life, worldly pursuits, okay? Earn your place, pay your dues, okay? Have your accomplishments, whatever, but never forget about the other side of life, which is much more important far more important. Okay? It is spiritual life. And the spiritual life will help you bring really true happiness. Okay? And give you a sense of direction. And this is what's lacking in my life before I met Master YongHua's Dharma. Okay? Your professors, your teachers can only teach you about the worldly side of life. They cannot teach you about the spiritual part of life. Life has to be worldly, okay? You cannot deny that, okay? And it also has to be spiritual. And that's what life is about. Okay, you ignore the spiritual life at your own risk and peril. You will end up in great disillusionments and disappointments and unhappiness. And that's what your children, it's going to happen to your children. They ignore it as well. So I'm very glad to hear that, you teach your children, some of you, get your children to meditate, listen to mantras, maybe talk a little bit of wisdom to them. Spiritual life is have a life of doing good. That's spirituality. The important thing about being alive is to do good. Okay? Chan is goodness. And you become stronger so that you can do more good and be happier in the process. Does it help? Any questions, comments? Okay, today I'm not very responsive. Yes, 7. Yeah, let's prepare to talk about the Chan anecdotes from the Chinese sages. Yes, 7. Yeah.
Master, I sort of have a talk with my niece.
Yes.
Kind of a few weeks back, and I kind of mentioned, you need to have a balanced life, like what you said. You need spiritual, practice spiritual. But the thing is, I'm not sure if they receive it because timing is, I think, is important. They may not be ready at a certain time when you talk about it.
Right.
And they might not receive correctly. So how do we with that?
Yes, good point. I'm glad you asked. Somebody's awake today. Yeah. Master talking about anything. It doesn't apply to me. I'm waiting for that question. You see if anyone listens at all. How do you teach your children? Yes, you know what to teach them. How do you teach them? Yes? How do you tell them? What do you tell them? How do you tell them? Look at yourself. How do you get here? How do you come to chant? Look at yourself. You came to chant because you're so happy. Yes? You're so happy, that's why you practice chant, Chen? Huh? You're so happy. I'm so happy. I'm going to practice chant now and torture myself. Yeah? How about the rest of you? That's for Chen only. What about the rest of you? How did you come to chant? Why do you practice chant? Because you're so happy, yes? No? Wait. You mean you were unhappy? Aha. See the clue? You have to wait until they're unhappy. Chan is useless to you unless you're unhappy. If you're happy, good luck to you. Okay? I don't want to see you at all. I only see you when you're unhappy. Let's face it. You are unhappy. You. Each and every one of you are unhappy. Yes? That's how you first came to Chan. That's what you do. Okay? Generally, two things. Number one, you wait until they become unhappy. If they're happy, leave them alone. Say, good luck, kid. I mean, I wish you the best of luck. And I know you're going to be so unhappy down the horizon. You know, you fall out of love with your wife. You want more money. The job is no longer satisfying. Huh? You search for becoming rich will end up in great disillusionment. Okay, it's a waste of time, waste of efforts. Okay, eventually you find out. Okay, and that's when you say, "What the hey?" Huh? So that's why you wait. You wait until they become disillusioned, and when you see that, don't jump up and down and say, "Oh God, I knew you'd be unhappy. I knew it. No, you don't say anything. Okay? And you wait more until they break down and they come to you and say, I need help. My point being that you don't teach anyone until they ask for it. You had to come because you're asking to be taught. There are a lot of them who came here to our temples in the last all this time here after I started teaching. They came because it's just curious. They said, I'm here for fun as a hobby and so forth. They don't last. The ones like you who last is because you're still unhappy. Yes? You're happier, but you're still unhappy. You say, it's got to be more to happiness than this. Yes? Okay. That's what you're discovering. You have to first start with being unhappy, and you say, I got to change. I got to do something about it. And we teach you, and you're discovering, boy, you have the ability to be happier and happier and happier and happier. That's why it's a false promise. We promise you happiness, but actually you're still unhappy like hell. Well, what's the difference? You are less unhappy than before. That's the secret of happiness. Happiness is you become less unhappy. That's what happiness is about. Make sense? Hey, that sounds like a good thing, huh? Secret happiness is to become less unhappy. Hey, I like this. Thank you. Hey. Yes.
This is from Go Force Apple.
Yes.
She says, all my family members are richer than my husband and me. My father has been worried about me for this, but compare with them, I think I'm the happiest. Thank you, Master.
Yeah, me too. I'm the poorest in my family as well. Most looked down upon as well. Look at me as a loser. Why on earth would you not eat meat? All the best players in the world. Why would you renounce it? What kind of nonsense? What kind of clothes were you wearing? This is nonsense. Yes. So that's what worldly people are confused about. They're confused about success. They're confused about accomplishments. I feel that they have put too much emphasis on worldly criteria, and they really neglect to their detriment the spiritual life. That's why they're so unhappy deep down. They're very unhappy. Okay? What's the catchphrase? Someone remind me of that. I need to continue to add more to my Facebook posts. And now that Shannon is doing a newsletter, I'm even more pressure to produce more contents. Yes, number 2.
Master, why is it our 无闻? I don't know how to say it in English. 无闻受想行識. Why are they so important to our in nature?
五闻. What's 五闻? He's Chinese, but I don't understand his Chinese at all.
Yeah, this is a problem. From Heart Sutra, 這個無聞
Which part of
受想行識 like
五
a form
濁. 五濁.
對對對
五
yeah.
陰. Which one are you referring to?
Like a forms.
Oh, that's 五蘊.
五言 yeah.
Yeah, 五蘊, not
Thank you
五
for
聞.
teaching me Chinese.
五聞 is, you have the military and you have administration, politics and military. That's 五聞.
五言 okay. So why are this like so overrun our
Yes,
life?
and that's the 五蘊.
Almost like
the 5 skandhas are the different components of your ego.
Yeah.
And your Chan practice is predicated upon destroying those 5 skandhas. That's the 5 skandhas are the technology that the Buddha created in order to guide us on how to destroy our unhappiness.
Yeah, why we are born just like this is
It's a nature of confusion. What do you mean, why? You're just confused. You're just confused.
Oh.
You've been confused all this time. Why are you confused? Why are you confused now? How old are you? You have 50 years of reasons why you're confused. And then before that, you have 50 gazillion lifetimes of confusion. Which one should we talk about? Is there enough time to do that? So it's not that important to know why. It's about how do we stop it? How do we cut it out? How do we put an end to all this confusion? That's much more important than why. Why is what the intellectuals ask for. Explain to me. I need a reason. I need to understand why. Okay? It's only because they don't know how to put an end to it. Problem is when you ask, how do we put an end to it? No one knows how. That's why no one bothers asking about how do I end it? Okay? Everyone became polite and intellectual. Let's talk about why. Okay? In Buddhism, why doesn't matter. The Buddha says, one example, he says, a long time ago when I first learned on Buddhism, when I couldn't understand Mahayana, I read a lot of Hinayana stuff in English. I remember this anecdote where the Buddha said, someone asked him, and the Buddha says, before I answer that, okay, let me tell you about this anecdote. It's just like what you asked me, okay? It's like you've been shot by a poisonous arrow. And then someone comes over to try to help you. And you said, wait a minute. Before I take the medicine, before you help me, you need to tell me, why was I shot?
Okay.
Huh? What kind of poison was it used? How did it make that poison? And so you better explain to me before you can touch me. And so the Buddha said, for such people, which basically are worldly people, they probably die of the poison before they can understand what's going on. Yeah. Okay? So that's what happens to intellectuals like you. You want to understand why, because your business, sir, is to explain why. That's how you make your money. It's funny. I've seen so many, like lifetime coaches or success coaches and so forth. They teach you the whys, They don't teach you the how to solve your biggest problems. They only teach you about how to go about resolving the worldly issues, the insignificant things, okay, that will make you more unhappy after you solve them. Yes, two.
That's very true. Most of my patients, they enjoy listen to hear why, and then only 1 minute or 2 minutes is just like, oh, this is what are we gonna do, they are not really interested to say how to solve this. They more want to know. Everyone wants to know why and why and why.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, they pay you, so they will get what they want. That's the nature of your problem. The problem is that, sir, with all due respect, you cannot make money unless you give them what they want.
Yeah. And I did when it's doing how they run. It's
Because they're not looking for it.
They're not interested.
Yeah. Okay. It's much easier to talk about it, to argue about it intellectually than to do something about it. It's our heart, our Chinese. Our Chinese is you can talk all you want, but you have to cross your legs. If you cross your legs, I would talk to you for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That's what I used to do when I first started teaching Chan. My students, unlike you, are mostly pale faces, shall we say. And I look at them and say, nah, you're not going to last, the way that the Chinese taught me. No way you're going to last. Okay? So what I did is I talked to them for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I kept on talking and talking week after week. They came and they love it. We talk and talk and talk and talk. Okay? And that's how that's what helped them endure the pain and the discomfort in the legs, because they're so intrigued about, the whys, the whys of the world. They love it. And after a while, I said, this is going nowhere. I only want the pale faces that want to work to work hard, not the one that want to be entertained only. Anyway, you need. So number one, I said you have to be patient and wait. Okay, that's what you do. You wait for them until they have a need to solve the problems. Some of them are not destined for it. Some of them are supposed to be successful. Some of them are supposed to be scientists. Some of them are supposed to be great success stories, worldly success stories. There's nothing you can do. That's their destiny. But some of them who have the blessings, and this is what matters. When those who have blessings, they will one day ask, what do I need to do to change? This won't do. If they are successful, if they're happy, let them be. So be it. Okay? So that's the first thing. You wait until you're asked. And you have to wait, keep on waiting. Don't jump the gun. As soon as you say, oh, you're so unhappy, can I interest you in this watch? You don't do that. You wait until they ask. This is common mistake that most people make is that you tell people about the spiritual life before they ask you. That's a big mistake. Even the students who came here, who asked me, no, I'm not teaching you about anything. I'm teaching you about the small things that bothers you. Okay? And so, number two is that you yourself have to be a superior person. You have to be stable. You have to be all the qualities of the spiritual life. Calm, kind, considerate. They see it. People see it. They respect that. They appreciate it. They just don't say anything. That's all. That's life. Okay? We're not supposed to expect recognition. But they appreciate it more than they realize. And the proof is that, the kids will want to draw near you. It's very simple. At the temple, I saw a lot of kids come to the temple, and then I see who they gravitate towards and who they try to avoid. Okay? And that's how you can tell. They're drawn to you. Some kids would never go near certain people on certain days. And that's what you do. You remain a pillar. You remain a support. That's all we are. Okay? We're not supposed to be famous. We're not supposed to be successful. We're just unnoticed. Okay? Yeah. Does it make sense? It's no reward. If you do this, the spiritual life is not a life when you seek rewards. Spiritual life is when you seek to be at peace, to be more patient. All those qualities, all those virtues that your worldly teachers don't know, don't appreciate. And those are the part of the fabric of happiness. You cannot be happy unless you have those qualities. And the more of those qualities you have, the happier you become. This is a fallacy of worldly people to think that happiness is only fun, it's only pleasure, it's only success. Not at all. That's suffering. That's stupidity. Happiness is giving. Happiness is kindness. And they don't know, they don't appreciate it until they need it. Questions, comments? Right? So that's what you do. Two things. Again, to summary, number one, wait. Number two, become a better person. So that's why, to me, life has to be balanced. You have to have a balance of worldly life, okay? Meaning that, you should have a good life. I mean, enjoy the food, enjoy the worldly things, enjoy sailing, enjoy ping pong, enjoy working out, okay? Whatever. It is a part of there where you live a normal life, okay? And you earn your way, and you contribute to society, okay? That's important, okay? Because you live with others, okay? You need to learn to live with others and be part of that global village. But also, we also have our spiritual life, which is far more important. So we earn our way, earn our worldly life in order to have the chance to work on our spiritual life. And that's where happiness is. That's where happiness is cultured, is cultivated. Yes, Stu.
So since my business is started a couple months, and I discover one thing from my patients is they teach me a couple of things. One is they only take the benefits of the Dharma door when they have excessive pain and suffering. Other than that, they will no use.
Your patients are lucky. There's some people, for example, who are poor and destitute. They have no chance at all. We cannot help those people. That's in the realm of charity, philanthropy. We can't help them. You see, that's why I said, if you want to cultivate, you need to have a balance. You need to invest in your worldly life, but that's only in order to be able to concentrate on the spiritual life. That is where what life really means. Yes, Stu.
Does that mean that they will have to come back to
Yes.
suffer, right, until hit that end?
Well, it's just like you throwing. Vietnamese is saying you throwing a javelin. Okay, you're in the motion already. You have to finish it. Okay, so it's the same thing. All those people who are suffering so much in dire straits, the die has been cast. Okay, it won't change. They're supposed to be like that. And so in those cases, that's what we do. We also help them. They come in contact with us. Because such people come in contact with us, we give them blessings, plant the roots for them to end the suffering in the future. Every time they come into contact with us, okay, we give them those blessings. Okay, that's part of our spiritual work, is to share those blessings. All right, time is up. Thank you, everyone. And see you next time. Bye-bye.